proceedings against Governor Fubara, APC rejects move. ADC inaugurates Constitution Review Committee aimed at strengthening party's internal democracy. Troops kill kidnapped suspects, recover weapons in Plateau raid. On the foreign scene, U.S. Senate vows to advance measure curbing President Trump's Venezuela war powers. Good evening. This is the news at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Damilola Raphael. The political landscape in Rivers State took another turn this morning when members of the State House of Assembly began impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Udu. They are being accused of gross misconduct. During plenary presided over by the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Amehule, the Majority Leader, Rivers State House of Assembly, Major Jack, read out the notice of allegations and gross misconduct against Fubara. 26 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly signed the notice. After Jack laid his notice before the Speaker, who said the notice will be served to the Governor in 7 days, the Deputy Leader, Linda Stewart, also brought forward a notice of gross misconduct against Professor Udu.
Legislature, why can't we be allowed to do our job? Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. We will follow this impeachment process through. The Supreme Court has confirmed that the governor has committed offenses against the Constitution. Let the law take its course. The law has to take its course. Mr. President, we thank Mr. President. He's a father. Mr. President has done his best. Mr. President has spoken to the governor. In my presence, Mr. President told the governor, I'm giving you a second chance. The governor refused. He gave him another one. The governor refused. How many times will the Mr. President call us? Distinguished colleagues, I thank you for your contributions. Prayers have been properly canvassed by members. Those in favor of the prayers of this motion should indicate by saying aye. Aye. Again, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, by this motion, this House hereby condemns the refusal of the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, with support from the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Udu, DSSRS, to present the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and 2026 Appropriation Bill in line with the Rivers State Fiscal Responsibility Law 2010 and the Constitution, respectively, as well as their reckless spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State. 2, this House is declaring that the House will not proceed with any action for presentation of the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Appropriation Bill 2026 until the investigation of gross misconduct leveled against the Governor and Deputy Governor are concluded.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has rejected the impeachment process initiated by the Rivers State House of Assembly against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Udu, describing the move as destabilizing and unnecessary. In a statement signed by the party spokesperson Darlington Wauju, the APC said it acknowledged the constitutional independence of the legislature but would not support what it termed a resort to impeachment against an APC-led government. The party cautioned lawmakers, particularly its members in the State Assembly, against yielding to external pressure capable of plunging the state into political turmoil. Addressing claims that the impeachment threat is linked to budgetary issues, the ruling party recalled that during the period of emergency rule, a 1.48 trillion naira budget was approved by the National Assembly in June and July 2025 and is expected to run until August 2026. Though the governor has yet to comment on the latest move, the Rivers APC has asked the Assembly to discontinue the impeachment process. Still in Rivers State, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has commended President Bola Tinubu and the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, over the completion of the Bodo Boni Road describing the project as a long-standing dream finally realized. Wike spoke on Thursday during his thank you tour of Bonny local government area of Rivers State. He describes the road as a political project that has been promised by successive administrations without result, noting that the Tinubu-led government delivered it without pressure. The minister also recalls the challenges previously associated with accessing Bonny, particularly during political campaigns. The road project, measured 37.9 kilometers, was temporarily opened by President Tinubu on December 8, 2025, with a directive banning night travel and heavy-duty vehicles pending its final completion on the first quarter of 2026.
One thing I've always told people, we never had any written agreement with the president. The only agreement I can say is that he told us, go and support us. When you support us, you will not be in vain. All of us know that this Bonny road has been a political road for long. Is it not correct? Every government comes, every government goes, we will do Bonny road. But see how, without prompting, without putting pressure on him, you have suffered. As we were coming, I said to God be the glory, amen, that in our time, we are riding on this road. Each time, when the Minister of Works will be briefing the Federal Executive Council about how far the Bonny road has gone, I will not talk. I will keep quiet. I said, well, I don't want to know how far. All I know, let us ride on the road. And let me use this place to thank my friend and my brother, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, for fulfilling and making sure Mr. President's dream has come to reality. Reality that we cannot drive to Port Harcourt.
Moving on, the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, David Mark, has inaugurated Etigwe Uwa as chairman of the party's Constitutional Review Committee in a move aimed at strengthening internal democracy and reinforcing the party's guiding principles. While inaugurating the committee today in Abuja, Mark, a former Senate president, charged its members to develop a framework that promotes inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability while staying true to the party's founding ideals. In July 2025, the ADC was chosen as the coalition party for several opposition leaders aiming to challenge President Tinubu in 2027. The former Senate president explained that the party's constitution serves as both its moral guide and legal foundation, noting that it shapes the party's ideology, regulates internal operations, and protects internal democracy. He stated that the committee will review the ADC constitution to update and clarify it, ensuring alignment with global best practices in democratic governance and party administration. In the meantime, a close political ally of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Dele Momodu, has ruled out any possibility of Atiku withdrawing from the 2027 presidential race in favor of former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi. Atiku, who was the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate in 2023, formally joined the African Democratic Congress in November 2025, months after resigning from the PDP. The move was widely interpreted as a strategic step to secure the ADC's presidential ticket ahead of the 2027 general election. Last week, Obi, who finished third in the 2023 presidential election behind Atiku and eventual winner, President Bola Tinubu, also defected from the Labour Party to the ADC. In recent days, speculation had gained traction that Atiku might step aside for Obi based on an alleged understanding that Obi would serve a single 4-year term and hand over to Atiku in 2031. The rumor, however, has been firmly dismissed by Momodu, who insisted that Atiku has no reason to abandon the race. In an interview with Punch in Abuja this morning, Momodu noticed that attempts to discredit Atiku's ambition had become a recurring narrative in the media space. To security matters, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Olorundare Jimoh, says that street urchins have been eradicated to the barest in the state. CP Jimoh made this known in a newscast this morning, stating that the police are not resting and wants to ensure everywhere is safe. The commissioner noticed that the command have been able to police Lagos to the extent that nobody can commit any major crime on the streets. He stated it is all due to the efforts they are putting in, but added that they are not resting and want to ensure that everywhere is safe. The commissioner also revealed that during the New Year celebration, Christmas, Eyo Festival, and other concerts where thousands of people gathered, no single incident was recorded. The state police chief further asked Lagosians to report any case of crime to him. Saying with security, troops of the 3-Division Joint Task Force Operation Enduring Peace have raided the kidnappers' hideout in Plateau State, killing suspects and recovering weapons in a swift operation based on credible intelligence. The raid conducted on Tuesday targeted a location near Lantom village in the Kadarako district of Wase local government area in a move aimed at disrupting kidnapping and armed robbery activities in the region. In the statement, the acting military information officer of the JTF Operation Enduring Peace, Captain Joshua Atu John, confirmed that 4 suspects were initially arrested while weapons were recovered. Captain John noted that the arrested suspects later cooperated with troops by revealing the location of a hidden cache of arms and ammunition on the outskirts of Kadarako. He, however, said in a desperate attempt to escape, the suspects tried to snatch the weapon of one of the soldiers while leading troops to the cache, adding that they were neutralized. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, has pledged to combat maritime crimes to ensure the safety and security of the country's maritime environment. He disclosed this today during an operational visit to inspect facilities at the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital and other projects in Calabar, the capital of Cross River State. The naval chief said the Navy is committed to making Nigeria's waters safe and secure, assuring that they will do everything possible to ensure that the country's maritime environment is safe. Speaking on his operational visits to Calabar, Vice Admiral Abbas expressed satisfaction with the facilities and operational gains made by the Navy in recent weeks. He further emphasized that the Navy's mandate is maritime security, noting that he is assessing the service's operational capabilities to identify critical challenges and prioritize areas requiring attention. The Defense Headquarters has clarified January 15 of every year as Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. It said the name, which was previously known as Armed Forces Remembrance Day, was officially changed to Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day to better reflect the dual essence of the occasion in honoring the living while also acknowledging the fallen heroes. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Siminalayi Fubara, clarified this in a statement today. General Fubara urged the media to adopt Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day in all future coverage. He appreciated the media's unwavering support in the fight against insecurity and looked forward to even stronger collaboration ahead. Here in Osun State, investors at the Oshogbo Industrial Center in Ayekwe area of the state have called for swift government intervention amid the ongoing power crisis that has crippled industrialization at the federal government facility. Investors also urged the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC, to avail the Oshogbo IDC 18 hours daily power supply. Toby Sanusi has more on this.
Established in February 1976 on a 70-hectare expanse, the Oshogbo Industrial Development Center was born from a partnership between the federal government and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization and the United Nations Development Program. Its mission was clear: to foster technical growth and provide critical support for small and medium-scale enterprises across the nation. Today, however, this vision, shared by 30 similar centers nationwide, stands in jeopardy. These centers, envisioned as the bedrock of a homegrown industrial revolution, have become largely inactive, representing loss of decades and a missed opportunity to build self-sustaining industrial base that could have powered Nigeria's economic advancement. Despite being transferred to the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, in 2011 for revitalization, progress has been slow. The Osogbo IDC embodies this struggle too and now grapples with a debilitating power crisis that is stifling production and chasing away investment. Investors relying on heavy machinery like Bolaji Jegede, who assembles grinding machines and wheelbarrows, are bearing the brunt. Mr. Jegede reveals that he has been forced to run entirely on a generator since starting operations 4 months ago, a challenge that he says may drive investors away.
Power is a big issue that we have now, and we are really appealing to government at all levels to work with the IBDC to ensure that we can get maximum power. Because there's no way we can really get return on investment when we don't have power, and we're running diesel here. For the past 4 months, we've been running on diesel every day. It's huge, and that's one thing that we really need to solve.
The story of paralysis continues elsewhere in the facility at Samuel Sanusi's modern automobile workshop, where modern-day technology is available to repair vehicles, and Monsurat's Ololade's leatherworks firm remained dormant, unable to commence business due to the unreliable electricity. Dr. Sanusi and his co-investors made a passionate appeal to government at all levels, calling for constant power to unlock their potential and operate effectively.
But we can't really start. Like I mentioned the other time, the only time I've seen light here was 7 p.m. just once. And within 2 hours, the light went off. So it's not really encouraging. We would be hoping that this support is provided as quickly as possible.
I was running the factory in a 3-bedroom flat, and we felt this is a big opportunity for people like us to evolve, add more capacity, and empower other young persons, train them, and expose them to the real-life problem. But what we met here is quite draining. But we are hopeful, and we believe that for the federal government to open this place for us, they won't just abandon us to it.
Similarly, the Osun State Manager of SMEDAN, Samuel Adebola, expressed deep concern over the impact of the blackout, specifically calling on the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC, to honor a prior agreement to provide 18 hours of daily power to the industrial center.
The duration of supplying us with light has been so erratic, and we've had several meetings with the management of IBEDC. They gave us approval of 18 hours, which they communicated to us. But since that time, it has never been implemented. So we are appealing to them. We are just appealing to IBDC and at the same time the state government to galvanize efforts in giving us a maximum supply of light. Because where you are, we are seated on a gold mine. This place has potential of giving people jobs at the same time of creating wealth for the state and beyond.
But IBEDC's senior communications officer in Osun State, Kikelomo Weye, in an interview, offered a different account, disputing the existence of any such agreement with the IDC investors. Mrs. Oweye explained that the feeders supplying the area fall under Band C, where supply is pegged at 12 hours, and that universally low generation from the national grid is affecting all their franchise areas.
IBEDC did not have an agreement with any investor at all of that capacity, and there was no promises that we can make outside our policies and our scope of operations, because the area where they are located, the feeder happens to be on Band C, which means minimum of 12 hours per day, and we can't go out of the scope to actually supply a single entity outside other feeders, because we work with the network. So it's what is obtainable on that feeder that we can actually give out to our customers.
She urged the investors at the Osogbo IDC, which is located in Ayepe area, to remain patient, assuring that interventions would follow once power generation improves nationally. The ongoing power crisis at the Osogbo IDC underscores a broader national challenge that businesses face in Nigeria. It is, however, expected that government at all levels make bold decisions to see to the revitalization of the Osogbo IDC and intervene in the power crisis. This is one of the facilities at the Industrial Development Center here in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, and the investors here are decrying the lack of power to effectively run their businesses. As you can see, the one behind me has been running on generator for the past 4 months. And if this continues, these investors may begin to run at loss. From Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, Toby Sanusi, Western Spring Television News.
Still to come, federal government secures release of Nigerian pastor Egbaji jailed in Benin Republic. We will bring you more on this when we return.